look at one more type of graph, and this is going to be the time series plot. The time series plots are going to be similar to the scatter plots. There's two main differences between scatter plots and time series plots. We're going to explore those differences by looking at the example here below. The data below was presented on the Wall Street Journal. In Europe and Asia, m-commerce is popular. M-commerce users have specific mobile phones that work like electronic wallets, as well as provide phone and internet services. The table in time series plot contains the number of m-commerce users in millions from 2000 to 2004. So notice here on the table below, we have the year 2000. We see that the number of users in millions was 0.5. So that this represents 500,000. We don't have data from 2001, which is okay. We do have data from 2002. In 2002, there was 20 million m-commerce users. In 2003, there was 33 million users. In 2004, there was 47 million users. We are talking about a time series plot. Notice here, the input is going to be years, or it might be a value that represents a year. What I mean by that is it could be possible for us to say, let's use the input 0, and that's going to represent, let's use the input 2, and that's going to represent 2000. 3 could represent 2003. 4 could represent 2004. Here, the input would be the number of years after 2000. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be the year. It could be a value that represents a year. Okay? And that is what we're going to see in time series plots. So again, I'm going to make that comment. The input represents a year. The output can be any quantitative variable that we're keeping track. So I'm just going to write output here. Okay. Now, for time series plots, we're always going to use the horizontal axis, also known as the x-axis, to label the time. So the time could be in seconds, minutes, hours, months, weeks. In this case, we are using years. Okay. So that is what we're using the x-axis for. The vertical axis, also known as the y-axis, is going to be used for the other variable. In this case, the number of users in millions. Now, let me highlight one of the main differences. For each input, in this case, for each year, we have a unique output. In this case, number of users. It's never going to be the case where we see more than 1 point for the same x value. For example, for the year 2000, we wouldn't have more than 1 point. We wouldn't see something like this. It's not going to be like the scatter plot. With scatter plots, it is possible to have multiple outputs for the same input. So that is one of the main differences between scatter plots and time series plots. The other difference is that with time series plots, we need to connect the points. So I went ahead and connected the points. Once I connect the points, then we can call this graph a time series plot. Okay, so let's just go ahead and write it here below. The points need to be connected. So those are the two main differences between scatter plots and time series plots. Now, let me show you how to construct a time series plot on Google Sheets. We need to copy the table into Google Sheet. Let's add another sheet. In cell A1, we're going to go ahead and paste our table. Let's go ahead and highlight both columns. Click Insert. Go down to Chart. And notice what we have here. We have a scatter plot. Remember, with time series plots, we need to connect all the points. So I'm going to have to change the type of graph that we have here. I'm going to go ahead and click on Linear Chart. And this is what we want. Now we need to be able to see the points on the graph. And when I click on this option, Linear Chart, it doesn't show me the points. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go under Customize. We're going to click on Series. And here, we're going to change the point size. Let's go ahead and change it to, we can try 2. Maybe that's going to be too small. Let's try something bigger. You can also try 7. Let's go ahead and do 7. Now you can see the points. This is what you want. Again, when you're selecting the chart type, you need to select the line chart. Then you go to Customize. Under Series, you have the option to change the size of the points. You could go ahead and change the titles, the title on the x-axis, the y-axis. You can play around with the title of the graph. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I just wanted to show you how you can make a time series plot on Google Sheets. I'm going to let you answer the questions we have below. A is asking you to write a sentence describing the coordinate point 2002, 20. Part B is asking you to describe the behavior of the number of m-commerce users over the years. And C is asking you to describe the relationship between the number of users and the years. You can write a unique explanation for all three questions. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a multiple choice question. That way you can see an example of a sentence that is going to answer this question.